Welcome my friends, hope you're all doing well today, because we have another TTBurger Remastered game for you, fresh and hot out of the oven for you all. And this is episode 3 here of my Remastered game series review here, and we're looking at another Namco franchise. I know, it's a Namco-thon, and it's been a Namco-thon for the last few episodes here of my Remastered series review. I mean, I can't help it. Namco's my favorite company, and I have a lot of Namco games I want to cover. We went from like a flight combat game, Ace Combat, to light gun shooter, Time Crisis, now we're to a fighting game franchise. And what a great way to start this off by talking about the Tekken series. And Tekken holds a place in my heart when it comes to video games because Tekken is my favorite gaming franchise of all time. It defined 3D fighting, and it was one of the first successful 3D fighting games back in the day, and it took the fighting game genre to another dimension. I mean, yeah, sure, you have like Mortal Kombat, Street Fighter, Soul Calibur, Dead or Alive, Rebellion, and Toshinden, and all that, and Bloody Roar as well. But nothing will beat Tekken in my opinion. And this remastered review will be one of the longest part videos I've ever done. This remastered review will be in 10 parts. That's right, people, 10 parts. The biggest game review ever featured on TTBurger 8 so far. And we have 10 parts here. Before I get started, I want to give a shout out to a bunch of people here who are fans of my channel and fans of the Tekken franchise. I want to give a shout out to my friend CC Gamer 88, JJ Brother 88, JJ Jaguar 89, and M the Man 89 are all Tekken fans just like me and know how much I love this franchise. So this is for all four of you. So I hope you enjoyed this. And we have a lot to talk about here for this. So I'm gonna give you a rundown what to expect in this video. Part 1, we're gonna look at Tekken. Part 2, Tekken 2. Part 3, Tekken 3. Part 4, Tekken Tag Tournament. Part 5, Tekken 4. Part 6, Death by Degrees, starring Nina Williams. Part 7, Tekken 5. Part 8, Tekken 5 Dark Resurrection. Part 9, Tekken 6. And Part 10, Tekken Tag Tournament 2. So we have a lot to talk about there, yeah. And I know there's a Tekken 7, but I'm not looking at that one because we all know everyone knows how much I do not like Tekken 7, how it felt more like a Street Fighter game and everything like that, so I'm not looking at it. But what we can look at all the good ones here in my opinion. We're going to start off with the original Tekken for the PlayStation, first released in the arcades of December 1994, and then nearly a year later, November 8th, 1955, Tekken was released for the Sony PlayStation. And if you can find this game in the long box here, there's two varieties of them. There's like the regular clear plastic one, like a Sage Saturn case, or this cardboard one here, which I like better. And as we get started here, we see the game Galaga being played. So you know what? Let's play some Galaga here. I'm kidding. I know you guys want to get to the nitty-gritty here and stuff like that, because well, it's just a mini game they have here, because Namco did this with certain games, like they had Ridge Racer, with Galaxy and stuff and all that stuff. So yeah, but we'll just get back on track here. And as the first game in the franchise, Tekken is a decent game, but compared to the sequels, this game has aged like a moldy cheeseburger that's been in the freezer for 5 months. And I know it sounds harsh and I understand that, but still it's a decent game. It has not aged that well, and I'll talk about that later. The PlayStation version has some exclusive features to it, which I will talk about later on. Now let's get started with the story here. The Mishima Zaibatsu, led by Heihachi Mishima, has created the King of Iron Fist Tournament, a worldwide martial arts tournament that is coming to an end with only 8 fighters remaining. Whoever wins and defeats Heihachi at the end will receive $1 billion and receive the title, the King of Iron Fist. The main protagonist, Kazuya Mishima, who is the son of Heihachi Mishima, enters the tournament to get revenge on his father for tossing him off a cliff into a trench, giving him a big scar on his chest, which caused the Devil Gene and entity inside him to activate. Now Kazuya wants revenge against Heihachi, so he enters the tournament for that. It's a good story, but I can't say any more. I want to avoid spoilers to people who want to learn more about the story. For the presentation here, the game's graphics look decent for a game released in the mid-90s. The character models do look good, although they can look blocky at times, especially like in the ending cutscenes. They do not look the greatest, since the character models are all shiny looking, and up close they have these ugly faces and they do not look very good. And plus the same song plays in each ending scene, so yeah, that's what I can say about that. The backgrounds are the best part of the graphics, seeing how they're all based on realistic places like Fiji, Philippines, Venezia, Italy, Kyoto, Japan, Angkor Wat, Cambodia, Szechuan, China, King George Island, Antarctica, Chicago, Illinois, USA, and more. And hell, you can even be in the Marin Stadium in Japan, which is a baseball stadium. Badass for sure. Come on, people, get some burgers and hot dogs and fries ready to watch the match, because this is better than baseball. It's two people duking it out in the King of Iron Fist tournament, so get your food ready. Come on, who wants some burgers and some hot dogs and some fries and or a nice cold bottle of beer? Come on, get them ready, people, get them ready. Sound, great sound for the most part. Music is the best part. You have two soundtracks, original and arranged, aka arcade and remix. The original soundtrack is the best. Consider that's the music used in the arcade version, and the arranged soundtrack, not my cup of tea because I do not like remixes and they do not sound the best. The voice clips for the fighters are the worst part of the sound, mainly due to the fact that most characters have the same voices, and I know Namco was on a budget when making this game for the arcades, but still, I mean, it just doesn't sound very good when most of the human characters sound like Jack or something like that. Jack's the big ass Russian android who has a one sound, and a lot of the characters sound like him. There are a couple characters who actually have the same sounds too and stuff. So yeah, the gameplay, it's good, but I have some complaints with it. The goal is simple: pick a fighter, you go for 9 stages so you face Hachi Mishima, and you win. You get the ending scene. The controls are simple. You have your kick button and your punch buttons, and like you move around the D-pad and everything like that. But here's where the problem starts with the controls. When pulling off a special or so, the controls can be stiff. Half the time the special moves don't even work, so you're better off just mashing the buttons to victory. You have a variety of characters to choose from, ranging from like martial art fighters like Paul Phoenix and martial law, and an Irish assassin like Nina Williams, to the Russian android like Jack, and like a Manji ninja Yoshimitsu, and like of course the Native American Chinese Indian Michelle Chang, and like and you got a lucha libre wrestler called King, who's from Mexico, and more and stuff like that. I don't want to keep naming them here, and of course you have Kazumi Mishima as well. And it's a fun game overall, but now I gotta talk about the bad. Not many modes to choose from. Only 1 player and 2 player. That's it. And just like I know it was one of the first 3D fighting games, but look at Battle Arena Toshinden 2. That game had more modes than Tekken here, so it's light on content. And the difficulty is very unbalanced, where the opponent AI can spam attacks over and over, and the cost is very cheap, and they can jump very high too. It's like they're on the moon, and we call it the moon jump. This was a thing where it's like a way to avoid the attacks, and they can do it all the time, and they can get very cheap. And the voice samples of the fighters, I already mentioned that, and like special moves do not work half the time. And here's another thing too. The PlayStation version lets you play as the sub-bosses for each character by unlocking them after beating our arcade mode with a certain character. But the unlockable characters are nothing special. They're basically palette swaps of other characters. Perfect example is Nina Williams is sub-boss, their sister Anna Williams, and they both play the same. King's sub-boss is Armor King, they play similar to one another. Jack and Prototype Jack and stuff like that, and Kazuya and Lee play similar to one another. They have the same voice like that, but still. And what I mean by like the opponent AI can be unbalanced at that, just wait when you fight Li Xiaolan. So he is so cheap, he keeps abusing the same kick over and over again. He will not have a chance. A problem that has been with Li in the first few games of the series and stuff like that and such. And plus, the unlockable characters don't have endings. Go straight to the credits. So it's not even worth playing them because you don't really know much about them. But it's still a decent game overall. Final thoughts here. If you want to see how Tekken began, and you have to give your taste for fighting games and Tekken stuff like that, then Tekken, the original Tekken will not disappoint. Just compared to the other games, this one comes off somewhat shallow, is what I mean. Due to the complaints I have with the original Tekken, the score we give it is a 7 out of 10 because of the problems I have with it, like the unbalanced difficulty, the stiffness in the controls, the fact that some special moves don't work, and the unlockable characters, they don't have any endings, so just like, I still said pick it up, it's still decent, but be warned, there's not much to the game. And that's it for episode 3, part 1 of 10 of my Tekken Remastered series review. Stay tuned for the next part. We're gonna look at Tekken 2, also known as Namco Tekken 2, which was at least 2 years later, and how does it fare for its predecessor? Find out next, which is all I gotta say. If you'd like to see or subscribe, like the video, comment down below, and join my Discord group, TTBurger 9. Also, more people to join, links in the description below, so feel free to check it out. Which all I gotta say is Tony, peace and out, have a good day, and see you all in my review of Tekken 2.